Hello guys and welcome to today's video update, and this one is going to be pretty serious because we're going to be talking about Super Typhoon Hinnomnar. That's a handful, but I think I said it correctly. Anyways, this is a Category 5 Beast of a Monster here. The particulars here is 26.6 north, 133.6 east. Maximum winds are at 140 knots. I think that's 160 miles an hour? Let me go and check real quick. 140 knots, 2 miles per hour. Let's see. Yeah, it's 160 miles per hour. And this thing is just really cranking it right now. We are looking at a minimal sensor pressure at a 917 millibars. And we don't really need to look at all this. As you can see, they're pretty much looking like the same thing. You know, west, west, southwest to southwest, and then looping around because of a Fujiwara effect from Invest 98W. Excuse me. So let's see what the Joint Typhoon Warning Center wants real quick before we go to IR here. And as you can see, this is an old update. It hasn't updated yet. Where they have it at 130 knots right now, which is 140 right now, and they have a peak at 135, which is it's already above that. So it is worth it to note that it's gonna these islands, Minami, Daito, Jima. That's definitely in the path of the system. There, you guys are starting to get bashed right now as we speak, with probably some pretty decent typhoon winds that are going to be starting there. And then we're going to be looking towards these islands here to the west here, Ishigaki-jima and Miyako-jima. So, there's people, these may be small islands, but there's people living on these islands. There's no question about that. So, you got to have your typhoon, preparations you probably already completed by now, especially if you're in the Minami Daito Jima area, because you're going to get all the wrath of it. You're going to get the storm surge. You're going to get the winds. You're going to get the very heavy rains and all of that other stuff that comes along with a Category 5 monster like this. So here we go. We're taking a look at the IR here. And look at how this is textbook right here. Pretty textbook Category 5 Westpac storm that you can see that's already hammering the Daito Jima Islands here. So you guys, like I said, you guys are probably experiencing typhoon force winds right now. I don't know if there are major typhoon winds in there yet, but they're probably pretty close at this point. And as you can see, the motion right now is generally to the west southwest. So the more west southwest this goes, the more danger this puts the Daito Jima Islands in. So you I just hope that you guys are hunkered down, or you either, I don't even know if you guys should even. I hope none of you guys stay for a Category 5 typhoon. But if you guys had no choice but to stay, just stay indoors. I hope you guys boarded up the houses. You know, got put away all the loose items that you guys have and all that other stuff that you don't need projectiles, roaming around. But once the Daito Jima Islands is done with this, then you gotta look to some of these islands here to the west. So, like I said, there's people living on these islands. Yeah, they look small, but there are definitely people living on these islands. All right, so here is the GFS. This was initialized at 12Z today, and as you can see, we're starting off with a 941 millibar system here. So we're going to take a look at the wind shear and stuff. We got 6 knots of wind shear, but the relative humidity is not very good at all. But at this point, it doesn't matter. It's a Category 5, so it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really matter at this point in time. Here is the 24-hour mark. We're looking at 8 knots of shear and a 66% relative humidity. And as you can see, at the 48-hour mark, this is where it starts looping around, stalling, what have you. 20 knots of shear and 87% relative humidity. 72. And as you can see, once it's done with the loop, it starts to strengthen again. So here's 96 hours. We're at 927 millibars. So this is probably going to end up getting a second category 5 peak if I had to take a wild guess with it. So here's 21%, or not 21%, but 21 knots of shear and 89% relative humidity. And as you can see, yeah, it makes a run at a category 5 again. So at 916 millibars, that's pretty impressive. Look at 7 knots of shear and 94% relative humidity with that one. Alright, so now here is the 90-hour ECMWF. This is a 6Z here. Now I would look at the 0Z, but that's not accurate now, so we're going to look at 6Z, which only goes about 90 hours. So let me refresh this real quick. So here we go. 24 hours, 973 millibars, I believe. We were looking at 6 knots of shear and 60% relative humidity. 48 hours, 968, which we all know that ECMW is usually bearish on systems. We're looking at 21 knots of shear and 81% relative humidity. So it's kind of so-so. 78 hours. We can't look at the measurements there. And as you can see, at hour 90, we are looking at 969 millibars. So now we're going to take a look at the CMC. Normally we only look at the GFS and European, but we're also going to take a look at the CMC and the HWARF today. And this was initialized at 12Z today. So as you can see, it does the loop-de-loop. All these models do the slow stall, well, not slow stall, but the slow down and the loop-de-loop before making its way up north. I'm probably getting close to another landfall here, probably the 6-day mark, but we're looking a little bit too far there. So this one ends at 975 millibars. So let's take a look at the rainfall accumulations too while we're here. Total accumulations. As you can see, some places, some of these island chains can pick up anywhere from 300 to 500 millimeters of rain here. Especially in Daito Jima, it looks like there's a hefty amount of rain going on there. I think this is about 20 or 24 inches of rain, if I believe. So, not only are you going to get the storm surge and the wind damage, you're probably going to get the flash flooding damage as well as we head out through time. So, with that being said, let's check out the total accumulations on here. And once the stall happens, it doesn't go, like I said, it doesn't go too far. But it looks like Daito Jima isn't picking up as much rain on the ECMW as the GFS. So, when it comes to the rainfall, you're hoping the European pans out because you don't want to add on top of all the other problems that you guys have with the major typhoon winds that you guys got going on. So here's the total accumulations from the CMC. And it looks like it shows pretty much the same as the GFS, kind of. And you can see that Daito Jima is in some of these darker purples and some of these lighter shades. So it looks like the CMC is kind of like in the middle for Daito Jima between the GFS and the European. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out going forward. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the HWARF here. And this was initialized at 12Z, and we're at 924 millibars. So this is the most accurate one when it comes to the pressure. So we're looking at 15 knots of shear, 87% relative humidity. So now we're going to go to 24 hours. Yes, 24. And now some of these other islands, as you can see, the southern tip of this island is probably feeling it a little bit. But then we get the recurve. and then it starts to strengthen again. And then now all of these Japanese islands are in the crosshair of the system as we head out through time. And, we don't got the rest of the frames here, so we're stopping at 105 hours. And as you can see, we're back down to 941 millibars. So, you know, you don't wish to see a Category 5 or Category 4 make landfall on any type of small island with people on it, because just don't know how well that island is going to withstand that kind of beating and punishment. So I really hope that the people in these Japanese islands are fully prepared to weather out the storm, or if they have evacuated, which I hope is the case for most of the people on these Japanese islands. All right, so the last thing I want to go over before I get out of here is the sea surface temperatures. And where this thing is right now, we're looking about 31 degrees Celsius waters. Like, dear Lord, this is... how much is 31 degrees Celsius? I'm not good with 31 degrees Celsius, the Celsius to 31 C to F. We're looking at 88 degrees sea surface temperatures in the area of which this typhoon is going to be traversing. So it has that going for it. What about the heat content? We're going to take a look at that real quick too. So let's go down here, northwestern Pacific, and as you can see, it's definitely good enough ocean heat content to support a Category 5 if it is moving fast enough. And definitely moving fast enough right now. I think it's moving about 20 miles an hour right now. So just who knows how much more this will strengthen. It'll probably, there's talks about it being anywhere from another 10 to 15 knots. But that is yet to be seen as we head out through time. So I'm going to end it off with this. I know Daito Jima is already in it, so there's nothing really you can do about it now besides just hoping for the best. The other Japanese islands to the west, I know you guys probably see what's going on there. Take it seriously and evacuate if you really got to do so. It's because once you get to the tropical storm force winds, that's pretty much it. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. So that being said, stay safe. I will be back again tomorrow with another update video on Hinnomnar. That's a mouthful. I'm sorry, but I'll have another update video on Hinnomnar tomorrow. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys then.